Gentlemen, thank you for your service and for appearing before the committee today. Secretary Mattis, you have appropriately noted that Russia, as well as China, but Russia is a strategic competitor, is the word that you use, seeking to create a world consistent with their authoritarian models and pursue veto power over other nations' economic, diplomatic, and security decisions. I think we see that very, very, very clearly up in the Arctic region. In the past 10 years, we have seen the Russians move dramatically, and actually in the past year, even more so. And yet, our U.S. Arctic strategy has yet to evolve to this changing dynamic. And the concern that I have is that rather than the Arctic being this place for commerce, a stable area with freedom of maneuver, that Russia is positioning themselves to control the Arctic, control its resources, control the sea lanes. And if the Northern Sea Route becomes a major shipping lane, Russia is poised to be that sole power that could effectively sanction or threaten to coerce, project power. We have had many conversations about this. Last May, the Deputy Secretary of Defense, Bob Work, spoke about the Arctic not being a central concern in the 2014 National Defense Strategy. Now we've got the newly published 2018 strategy summary, and it also does not specifically highlight the Arctic region nor address how long-standing gaps in Arctic infrastructure will be addressed. So I'm getting to this place. We have discussions about it. I raised the issue of the Arctic and what we're seeing up north, and again, this very dynamic area. But I am reluctantly coming to the impression that the Department of Defense does not have a coherent vision for addressing America's defense interests in the changing Arctic at this point in time. And that the view is that it's going to be a problem someday, but that right now it's not a problem, and so we don't need to address it. So I'd like to know if you think I'm wrong in that impression, and if you can share with me what you believe the vision is and how we intend to resource it, because things are changing quickly, right, in a dramatic way up there.
Well, I appreciate the strategic nature of your question, Senator. The first point I would make is, yes, there is a prioritization that goes on as we look at the strategy. What are the near and present threats, this sort of thing. But I would also point out that the entire strategy is drawn with a by, with, and through approach. And why do I bring that up? The Arctic Council, as you no doubt are aware, Denmark, Norway, Canada, the United States, and Russia. And there are other observer nations. China is one, by the way, that's helping to fund Russia and their activities in the north. But my point is that you can see that 4 of those 5 nations are democracies. So as we look at our line of effort number 2 about strengthening alliances and partnerships, and again, the United States, Canada, Norway, Denmark, all NATO allies, you can see that our approach is heavily involved with those allies when you look at the Arctic Council makeup. So the more that we work by, with, and through allies, including several, Denmark and Norway, that keep a very close eye on the North, we are in effect working in a coalition of sorts right now. Now, it's not a military coalition.
And that was what I was going to interject, was that the Arctic Council specifically says that defense and defense strategies are not part of what they deal with.
That's correct. But at the same time, Russia has to confront the claims of, for example, Denmark and Norway, where they contradict Russian claims. So I think there's still an advantage in the diplomatic realm of this competition that Russia's chosen. But at the same time, you will see new icebreakers coming into the Coast Guard inventory. Those are being funded.
We have 1 funded, but we need to have a plan for the additional 5, and I'd like to work with you all on that.
I couldn't agree more. I agree 100% with you, Senator. Again, there's an effort to make certain that what we're doing is with others so that we're not carrying the full financial or military costs. But it is an area of increased concern because as the ice sheet melts backward, we've got waterways open that we didn't have to confront year-round in the past. So I think right now, I have your concern loud and clear. I think we're doing the right thing, but I cannot articulate either that full strategy you're looking for, and we are putting it together with other parts of the government. Anything else, Chairman?
Senator, the only thing I'd add is, speaking at it from a military perspective, you know, in the 1990s, we actually developed regional strategies, so they'd be focused on the Arctic, the Pacific, or the Atlantic. The global campaign plans that we've developed right now, which are classified, take a problem set approach. So we have a global campaign plan for Russia, which accounts for the military capabilities that they have postured in the Arctic. And so our plans no longer focus specifically geographically. For example, in the 1990s, we might have had a plan specifically focused on defending the Baltics. We now take a much broader approach to the full range of challenges that Russia provides. And so I would argue, at least at the military level, the Arctic is fully included in our global campaign plan for Russia, specifically the military capabilities that they have postured in the Arctic and the threat that they pose.
Well, know that you will find me aggressively pushing on this to make sure that we do have that broader view.